Have you ever wondered what it would be like to live without your own heart beating in your chest? To have your life sustained not by flesh and blood, but by a machine? It sounds like science fiction, but this became a reality for one man on a cold winter day, a decision that would echo through the halls of medicine forever. This is the incredible and often heart-wrenching story of Barney Clark, the first man to receive a permanent artificial heart. Our story begins in the early 1980s. Barney Clark, a 61-year-old retired dentist from Seattle, was in a dire situation. His heart was failing. He was suffering from end-stage cardiomyopathy, a condition that had weakened his heart muscle so much that it could no longer pump blood effectively. He was constantly short of breath. His body was weak, and every day was a struggle. The doctors had given him a grim prognosis. Without a heart transplant, he had only a few days, maybe weeks, to live. But there was a major problem. Clark was too old and too sick to be considered a good candidate for a human heart transplant. The risk of his body rejecting a new organ, combined with his overall frail health, meant that the traditional route was closed off to him. It was a dead end. For most people, this would have been the end of the story. But Barney Clark was about to be offered a choice that no human had ever faced before. At the University of Utah Medical Center, a team of pioneering doctors was working on something revolutionary. Led by surgeon Dr. William DeVries and designer Dr. Robert Jarvik, they had developed a total artificial heart. They needed a volunteer, someone who had exhausted all other options, someone brave enough to step into the complete unknown. That someone was Barney Clark. Faced with certain death, he chose a chance at life, no matter how slim or how strange it might be. He knew the risks. He knew he would be a human experiment, but he also saw the potential, not just for himself, but for future generations. His wife, Unaloi, stood by his side, supporting his monumental decision. And so, on December 2nd, 1982, history was made. Barney Clark was wheeled into the operating room. The world's media held its breath. The surgery was a marathon, lasting over 7 hours. Dr. DeVries and his team carefully removed Clark's diseased, failing heart. In its place, they meticulously stitched in the Jarvik 7, a device made of polyurethane and aluminum. 2 plastic tubes were threaded from the mechanical heart out through his chest and connected to a machine the size of a washing machine. This external console, a 400-pound air compressor, was his new lifeline. It would sit by his bedside, rhythmically pushing compressed air through the tubes to power the plastic ventricles of his new heart. The familiar soft thump of a human heartbeat was replaced by the constant, mechanical click-clack and whoosh of the machine. When the surgery was over and the machine was turned on, Barney Clark's blood began to flow once more, powered not by muscle, but by air and electricity. Technically, the operation was a success. He was alive. But what followed was not a simple story of miraculous recovery. Life with the Jarvik 7 was incredibly difficult. Barney Clark was permanently tethered to the massive, noisy console. He couldn't leave his hospital room. His life was a constant cycle of medical tests, procedures, and battling complications. He suffered from blood clots, kidney failure, and periods of confusion and memory loss, likely caused by the unnatural blood flow from the device. There were moments of clarity and hope. He was able to sit up, talk with his family, and even celebrate his 25th wedding anniversary with his wife in the hospital. In these moments, he showed incredible courage and humor. He once joked with his doctors, "I've got a new heart. Now I'd like a new body to go with it." These glimpses of his spirit reminded everyone of the human being at the center of this technological marvel. However, his health remained fragile. His body was fighting a constant battle, and the artificial heart, while keeping him alive, was also the source of many of his problems. He was often in and out of consciousness, and the quality of his life was a subject of intense ethical debate in the medical community. In the public eye, was it right to keep a person alive under these conditions? After 112 days, Barney Clark's journey came to an end. On March 23, 1983, he passed away from circulatory collapse and multi-organ failure. His body, weakened by his long illness, had finally given out. So, was the experiment a failure? It depends on how you look at it. If the goal was to give Barney Clark a long, comfortable life, then it fell short. But that was never the primary goal. The goal was to learn, and in that respect, the experiment was a monumental success. Every single one of those 112 days provided an unprecedented amount of data. Doctors learned about blood flow dynamics with an artificial pump, about the risk of clots and strokes, about how the body reacts to foreign materials over time. They learned about the immense psychological toll such an existence takes on a patient. Barney Clark's sacrifice taught the medical world more about artificial hearts than decades of lab research ever could have. His bravery paved the way for the future. The Jarvik 7, in its original form, is no longer used, but its descendants are saving lives every single day. The knowledge gained from Clark's experience led to the development of smaller, more sophisticated, and more reliable devices. Modern ventricular assist devices, or VADs, are now routinely used as a bridge to transplant, keeping patients alive and strong while they wait for a donor heart. Some patients even receive them as destination therapy, allowing them to live for years outside of a hospital. Today's artificial hearts are quieter, more efficient, and in some cases, fully implantable, with batteries that allow patients to be mobile and live relatively normal lives. None of this would have been possible without that first risky step taken in 1982. Barney Clark was a true pioneer. He wasn't just a patient. He was a partner in a scientific quest. He willingly ventured into the unknown, knowing the personal costs could be immense. His legacy isn't just the 112 days he lived with a machine in his chest. His legacy is the thousands of people who have lived since, who have been given a second chance at life because he was brave enough to take the first. It's a powerful reminder that sometimes the greatest leaps in medicine come not just from brilliant doctors and incredible technology, but from the extraordinary courage of a single individual. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this story as fascinating as I did, please hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the incredible history of science and medicine. We'll see you in the next one.